Today is the update on the garlic powder project, okay? You saw us put them in the dryer the other day. We chopped them up. Eric decided he wanted to try something different. Instead of chopping them up in little tiny pieces, he decided to hammer them. I don't know if you can tell the difference. But he took a steak hammer and he pounded them. He thought if he pounded some of the juice out, they'd dry faster. And with his, we stuck them in the oven at 200 degrees for about 8 hours, and they dried pretty good, but not completely. So we put some of them, let me show you. His turned out like a greeny color, can you see that? And they're flattened, okay? And they're not quite dry because they were so thick. The ones that I dried took a little longer, but it was a lesser temperature, and they dried very green. So right now I'm dumping the ones that I dried into a bowl so we can process them with the coffee grinder. Now I found the best way to do that with these little circular disc things. You can put them in a bowl, put the whole tray over the bowl, and then fold it up towards the center because they're all going to want to fall out. And you don't want them all over the counter and all over the floor. And if you fold it up towards the center, they go where they're supposed to, in the bowl. Like so. It's a process, okay? So, that's how we got them safely in the bowl without having a big mess. I also cut up some other ones that we just recently got out of the garden from by the grapes. Eric cut them actually, and they're bigger pieces. And they have to go in the dryer yet. They're not finished drying. So now in the dryer, we have Eric's smashed up ones and the greener ones. Oh, actually there's more of these smashed up ones. So I need to fill another tray with them. Bear with me. He did a lot of smashing. These are the garlics that were scapes that were around the grapes. We have a patch that's just garlic, but we had trouble with aphids and things on the grapes. So we decided we were going to plant garlic around the grapes because the aphids do not like garlic. And so because they nest at the base of the grapes, we had to have the garlic growing at the base. And the garlic smell kind of goes through the soil. And so that kind of kept the aphids at a minimum. We had a really good success with that last year. So I'm now dumping them into the bowl from each side of the paper that we cut out. There actually is a tray came with this, a plastic tray. It's like a screen that fits over the regular trays for making fruit leather, but they don't assume you're going to make one tray of fruit leather, so they only put one plastic tray in. So now they go in the coffee grinder. I put about a handful in, 3/4 to fill it. Now you're going to hear the noise. And we still have a blade of grass in here that Eric didn't chop up or didn't take out. So I just take it a bit so that none of them stick in the bottom. So sometimes when you're grinding stuff, even the coffee, you'll get a layer of it in the bottom that's stuck, eh? So, okay, you don't need to watch the whole thing because some of these were dry yesterday. And I already bagged them. Whoops, wrong one. So this is kind of a pale green. So they're not white like you get in the store, but if it was aged longer, you'd lose the color. I dry a lot of herbs, leaves and things, and they always grind really colorful, green like this or whatever color I grind it, peppers dried or whatever. But over time, within a few months, they turned white as well. So I'm assuming that the garlic powder we buy in the store is either from the cloves or else it's aged. Now this is a result. I did some of both yesterday. This is the bag of, these are dollar store bags I get. If you can see this, this is the green ones that are pounded. dried into garlic powder, and we actually did garlic bread with them. And this is the one that's dried in dehydrator that wasn't pounded. Same product. They're the scapes from the garlic, but depending on how you dry them or pound them, I didn't pound these are pounded. The color is different. They dry, I think when he pounded them, the green outside went all through the white inside of the scapes, and so they came out a darker color. But when you dry them, for some reason, it didn't happen. This is closer to white, and this will likely be white sooner. So if you're selling things like this at a market, garden thing, you want them lighter because people expect their garlic to be light. And that took about 3 days. We had to grow the garlic. But the garlic goes in the fall in the ground, and it grows all winter. And by July this year, it was ready to take the scapes off, and by next week the garlic bulbs themselves will be ready. If we leave them in the ground too long, the little extra cloves will start to root and separate, and then they won't store well. And you'll have a whole bunch of, like Eric did last year, he forgot to harvest. And so all the garlic cloves stayed in the ground over winter as a whole group of cloves, and they became up like 6 garlic plants in groups. So that's what happens. You gotta take them out of the ground in the fall or in the summer and dry them. So anyways, thanks for watching. God bless you. I hope this helps you, Tommy, in your adventure in drying stuff. In the fall, we make a 8 green drink. I take the tops off the greens, like the kale and the broccoli and the beets and but anyways, the greens, everything I grow, greens, lettuce, and there's 8 different vegetable greens. I do the same thing. I dry them and I powder them, and that becomes a healthy, for my smoothies, a healthy drink. 1 teaspoon of that powder with the 8 vegetables in it is powerful. You get a really good green, healthy smoothie, and it's a whole lot cheaper to dry your own greens than it is to pay up to $30 for a little wee container of veggie greens for your smoothies. So have a good day. I forgot to mention, I always forget something, eh? You have to strain them into a bowl, because once in a while you miss a little bit of something, like a chunk of garlic, and surprisingly, even though that looks like a very fine powder, I sift them, not strain them. When you sift them, there's always a few little bits in there that you will not necessarily want on your garlic bread when you do it, or your garlic potatoes, garlic sour cream mashed potatoes. Now see, this was ground for a fair chunk of time. It doesn't matter how little or great you fill the thing, you're still going to get chunks. And see, I don't know if you can see it, there's still chunks. So that will go back in the pocket grinder. Now we're done. Take care, God bless.